Hey, this is Dr. Marisa, women's hormone expert, author, and the host of the Essentially You podcast. And today, I'm sharing my 5 big benefits of the Powerhouse hormone insulin as a part of my Powerhouse hormone series that I've been sharing these past 2 months. Now, if you haven't checked out the other hormones that I've been featuring, definitely go back and check those out. Now, I've spent a lot of time here on the show talking about insulin, but today I really want to highlight the amazing wins that insulin contributes to our body, because insulin is a lifesaver. Now, insulin is a powerhouse hormone secreted by our pancreas. It's primarily responsible for lowering blood sugar and storing excess sugar that we consume into tissues like our muscles and our liver. Now, when our metabolism is cranking and you're metabolically flexible, you typically burn off extra carbs or sugar very easily, and the cycle repeats without any real damage ever being done. No big deal, easy peasy. But due to hormone shifts and lifestyle habits like poor sleep, stress, and eating too many starchy carbs and refined foods, what ends up happening over decades is our body becomes more naturally insulin resistant, meaning your body and your cells don't easily respond to the hard work of your pancreas releasing a ton of insulin. And the more insulin resistant we become, the more sugar your body has to store in its muscles, organs, and tissues, such as adipose tissue, known as fat tissue. And that lends to abdominal belly fat, fatty liver disease, and even fat around the organs. And you are less likely to burn off excess sugar easily. In other words, insulin is also known as a fat storage hormone. It actually increases fat synthesis and inhibits the breakdown of fat tissue. In addition, it promotes glucose uptake, and it's used to produce energy in all of your cells. Insulin also plays a role in suppressing glycogen conversion into glucose, which is then released into the bloodstream, liver, and muscles. Without getting into much detail here, although I have gotten into a lot more detail here on the show, as you become more and more insulin resistant, you're forcing your pancreas to work overtime, flooding your body with more and more insulin, and ultimately putting your body on a crash course towards inflammatory chronic diseases. So you can see why it's so important to keep your blood sugar balanced, because that's literally the name of the game. The fewer blood sugar spikes we have, the more insulin sensitive we are. And the great thing about it is we can reverse insulin resistance, which is amazing. Now, when you have healthy insulin levels, you've got insulin sensitivity, and your cells are using it properly, it can work some serious magic. So here are the 5 big benefits of the powerhouse hormone insulin. Number 1, I shared already, it lowers your blood glucose. This is insulin's main function, and when it works really well. You have a little sugar here and there in moderation, and at the right time during that meal, your body knows exactly what to do with that sugar so it doesn't end up being stored as fat. We burn it off. That is what good insulin sensitivity is. We just burn our carbs, we burn our sugar super easily. Number 2, improves brain and nerve function. So insulin can enter the brain through the blood-brain barrier and exert its effects on the brain insulin receptors. Note that every single cell in the body has insulin receptors because insulin is such a major player in the synthesis of energy. So when we have the right amounts of this, it can actually help to improve cognitive function and ward off or improve conditions like Alzheimer's. It also protects our nerves specifically, but it can also have the opposite effect. When levels are too high, we can see that it affects our nerves in a negative way. And that's when we see, neuropathy in diabetes patients. Number 3, improves heart function. So insulin resistance is associated with an increased incidence of high blood pressure and coronary heart disease. However, when your cells are receiving it properly, insulin forces the muscles in the arterial walls to relax, thus increasing blood flow. Insulin can also increase the secretion of a growth factor known to create new blood vessels, which is really important. Number 4, builds muscle. Now, because insulin helps to deliver glucose to our muscles and tissue, which is amazing, insulin might also help to increase amino acid uptake and protein synthesis in your muscles. It can also decrease muscle protein breakdown as well. This is why it's so important to get some extra form of exercise or moving your body after a meal, because when we are moving after we eat, not only do we take in that sugar into our muscles, but again, we're able to increase the amino acid uptake as well. So definitely put your insulin to work for you, not against you, by moving your body after a meal. And then number 5, aids in protein and enzyme digestion. So healthy insulin levels and metabolism can improve the way your body secretes stomach acid and digestive enzymes like pepsin. Just another huge benefit to keeping blood sugar balanced. The moral of the story here is that insulin in the right amounts, basically when it's sensitive, is like a magic bullet for all things that keep you smart, slim, energetic, and youthful. And the key to maintaining optimal insulin levels or reducing insulin resistance, because remember I told you it can be reversed, is really by managing your blood sugar. So here are some of my favorite ways to do that. Number 1, eliminate added sugar from your diet. I mean, let's be honest. Those sugary drinks, dessert for a snack, it ain't doing us any favors. Number 2, consider intermittent fasting, right? So I highly recommend a 12-hour circadian fast. But what I really want to see is you eating dinner earlier and fasting all the way to the next morning and having a savory breakfast to kick off your metabolism for the next day. Number 3, dress up your carbs with fat, fiber, and protein. Number 4, walk or exercise between 30 minutes a day and especially 15 to 30 minutes of walking after you eat a meal. This is critical after dinner and even after lunch. Number 5, use my top 5 hacks to blunt a blood sugar spike. And I will have a blog link to go check that out. I also have a podcast devoted to this as well, and I'll have the link for that in the show notes. And number 6, try an herbal glucose supplement like my glucose support. Glucose support is phenomenal, especially if you take it in the morning and before your biggest meal of the day, to reduce postprandial glucose uptake by over 35%. And it can even help if you have dessert. So I love a great glucose support supplement that can help stabilize blood glucose levels throughout the day just by taking it twice a day. So just something to think about. Now, if you are loving these tips, be sure to subscribe for more easy ways to heal your hormones and upgrade your health. To the next episode, have an amazing day.